What's good, family? Adrian back. Hey, I got a real quick question for y'all. How many of y'all were actually attracted to your narcissist at the very beginning of the relationship? Like, how many of y'all actually pursued your narcissist? Because one of the common threads that I'm seeing is the narcissist may have been physically attracted, but a lot of us weren't actually attracted to the point where we wanted to be in a relationship with them. So that's something that I noticed that at the very beginning of my situation with the narcissist, it was always that kind of underlying feeling like I don't really want to be in a relationship with this person. She was very attractive physically, but outside of that, I didn't see myself actually being in a relationship with her. So I guess that's probably the very first red flag that I overlooked, or like one of the things that I should have just stuck to from the very beginning, because at the very beginning of everything, I thought she was attractive, I thought she was pretty, but I wasn't really feeling her. And it might have been because I knew a little bit about her history before I actually got into the relationship. But in my case, I'm just thinking from the standpoint of, everybody has a past, everybody grows up, and, we grow up and mature and we move past certain things. But it's like a common thing that I'm seeing amongst narcissist survivors, that they really don't, they really didn't see themselves with this person from the very beginning. So I think that's like one of the main red flags that we overlook, is something is telling us from the very beginning, like, we not really that interested in that person, or there's something about this person that we are just not really feeling. It was like a vibe that I just wasn't feeling at the very beginning. Then the love bomb came, and I started kind of lowering my guards, because of course I'm in the middle of the love bomb, and the love bomb was so intense. It was like sex all of the time, bringing me food to my job, bringing me jerk chicken, curry chicken, you know what I'm saying, all of that kind of stuff. She bringing me that type of stuff to my job. And it was one of those situations where I kind of fell in love with the consistency of her over time. It wasn't something that I was feeling right off the break. Like, it took me years to actually start to catch feelings for her, and it took me a few off again, on again, off again, on again relationships with her for me to actually start to catch feelings for her. So that's another red flag that I overlooked, as far as just the back and forth relationships, because each one of the times that it was on again, off again, every time it was off, it was because she just removed herself out of the situation. So like they say, narcissists kind of go in cycles. It was like a 1.5 to a 2-year cycle for her in our relationship. So she would, like in 2010, she popped in. We started kind of dealing with each other around that time, somewhere around there. I can't remember exactly when, but somewhere around 2010, 2011, she kind of popped back into my life after a long time of not seeing her. And when she popped back into the situation, she stayed for about a 1.5, 2 years. Everything was cool. We was like maintained a real cool friendship, all of that kind of stuff. And then she just disappeared, like out of nowhere. And I'm trying to, like, at that time, I was a little bit younger. I wasn't really looking for anything serious at that time myself, because I had probably just gotten out of a more serious relationship. So I was just kind of enjoying a friendship with somebody that I thought, that I could trust, and somebody that I thought shared similar interests. So at the very beginning, it could have been that my boundaries were low, but it also could have been that I wasn't expecting or looking for too much from her, because I was just trying to find my own happiness and my own peace at that time, and just trying to find my own path in life. Like, I was focusing on what I wanted to do and what I wanted to be myself. So, it was fun and it was cool to have that friendship. And at that time, and that's probably where everything should have stayed. So at that time, it was like I said, on a 1.5 to 2 year cycle. So she would pop in, she would stay for a 1.5, 2 years, and then she would pop out, and it would be like no contact for about a year, 1.5, 2 years, and then she would just pop back in the situation and act like nothing happened. And again, I'm thinking to myself, well, we kicked it the first 1.5, 2 years. We had a real cool relationship. You know, nobody disrespected each other. Nobody, you know, it was cool. So when she popped back into the situation, I'm still going off of the fact of like, the first time around, it was cool. Yeah, it didn't result in us being in a full-fledged relationship, but I enjoyed, you know, that spending that time with her and all of that kind of stuff. So it was kind of easy for her to just pop back into the situation, because at that time, again, when she popped back in, I wasn't dealing with nobody else. And not only was I not dealing with nobody else, it was like I was so dedicated to my path and what I was doing that it made it easy for her to love bomb me, because I was so enthralled in like work and starting my own businesses and all of that kind of stuff that I didn't really have a lot of personal time. So it was easy for her to just come around, give me sex from time to time, come around, bring me a meal from time to time, and then just probably skate off. And she was probably like skating off to the other supplies house even back then. But I was so busy and caught up into like chasing my dreams and chasing my goals that I was probably overlooking all of that kind of stuff, because I was just so focused on my own personal life, which is a gift and a curse, because that is what actually helped me get past the situation. Because even when the discard and all of that came, I just stayed on my path. I stayed focused on what I was doing. I didn't try to look back and see what her and the new supply was doing. I didn't try to, you know, I didn't try to like fight the situation. She wanted to move on, and I just let her move on. And it's like the fact that I was able to just stay focused on my job, stay focused on, you know, building my businesses and my brand, and now actually being a new father, that those are the things that kind of helped me get past a lot of the initial pain of like the discard and all of that kind of stuff, all of the initial stuff that happened. I was so focused on my life at that time and trying to improve things in my own personal life that I really didn't give what she was trying to do no energy or no type of gas, because I knew that everything she was doing was really just to hurt me. It wasn't anything that she was doing, because it had no rhyme or reason. It was no reason to like uproot anything or like, you know, split my situation apart, as far as like, you know, split my son's life apart like she did, because there was literally no arguments. We was cool as a fan all the way up until she got pregnant. And I actually just watched another video on the narcissist feeling like, basically, well, we've reached this milestone. Like once they get you pregnant, or once you marry them, they feel like, well, I've reached this milestone, so what's next? And now that I've reached this, it's like there's nothing else here for me to gain, so they just move on. And that's absolutely everything that happened in my situation. So because I didn't understand narcissism at that time, I'm sitting back looking at the situation like there's no rhyme or reason for us to be tearing this family apart and making us, you know, making our son, making this little boy go through this. Like, and there was no, like, she never gave me any real reason. Like I told you guys in a lot of other videos, the only reason that she actually gave me to this day was, I'm just like my mother. I don't need no dude. I don't need no, and basically she said the N-word. She's like, man, I don't need no nigga. I don't need you. I don't need to be with you. I don't need to be with nobody. And that's pretty much how she carried it. That was the entire situation, like in a nutshell. You know what I'm saying? We had a really cool relationship, on again, off again, for years. And then as soon as she got pregnant, everything just switched. So that is basically something that I just wanted to ask you guys. what was your experience when it came down to that? Like, did you pursue your narcissist, or was your narcissist so consistent, like with the love bombing, that you just fell for him after a while of like being love bombed, and you know, after a while of spending time with him? Because like I said, that was my own personal situation. My personal situation was, it took me a long time to actually catch feelings for her in the manner of falling like in love with her, or even having any type of feelings of love for her in that way. I loved her like as a friend, and I loved, you know, spending time with her, having fun with her, and all of that kind of stuff, because it wasn't just the sex. She was like, you know what I'm saying, like when we hung out, our energy was cool together, but now that I'm sitting back realizing it was my energy that was cool, and she was basically mirroring me. She was following my vibe, so it seemed like we were so cool because she was mirroring everything that I did. So like how I moved in restaurants and stuff like that, she would like kind of mimic me the entire time, and I didn't realize what she was doing until now, like after I started learning what narcissism was and what NPD was and all of that kind of stuff. So yeah, that's just a question that I had for y'all, man. Check in with me, leave the comments in the comment section, and let me know if that was part of y'all experience as well, man. I appreciate and love each and every last one of y'all. If y'all are new here, go ahead and subscribe to the channel, and I will talk to y'all later, man. Salute to the family, man. Love y'all.